it was also the family that's like, you know, watching Power Rangers because we know this kid with ADHD and he watches Power Rangers and he's always hitting people.
No Power Rangers, really?
Only Power Rangers specifically though. Beetleborgs were cool. Beetleborgs were fine.
I watched Beetleborgs for sure.
Oh yeah, which is funny because it's like Beetleborgs was the shittiest Power Rangers knockoff.
Did you watch VR Troopers?
I don't know what BR Troopers is. I just remember Beetleborgs was they got their powers from the comic book in a haunted mansion.
Yes.
Which I was like, oh cool, it's like Goosebumps.
They had Scary Jay Leno.
Yeah, he's like a Joker Frankenstein Jay Leno.
Here's VR Troopers. Check that out.
Man.
It's
Saban. Oh, I think I saw toys for these in the because like they had the Power Rangers aisle, right? But they had like all the knockoff shows there. You had your Beetleborgs. I've seen that guy on the right before there, I think.
Was that
that's like an ancient memory unlocking, I think.
Was that a thing in where you lived? They had, you know, the stores were big enough to have a Power Rangers aisle?
I went to a Toys R Us because Power Rangers was fucking huge. So you'd have like the premier Power Rangers figures that I never got because they were expensive and from the Forbidden Show. But they always had the knockoff shows merchandise. You could get your Beetleborgs, you get whatever VR Troopers got adapted into. They had all those like Saban, those spin-off stuff there to buy. I think they might have even had like a few things that were like Japan only, because I remember seeing some Gundam stuff in those aisles too. Not like a big model kit or something.
I was gonna say like model kits.
No, just like the simple little like, oh, it's like here's your action figure. But it's like, this looks sort of like Power Rangers. Just put it in that aisle.
Who was your favorite Power Ranger? Do you remember? Since you didn't get to watch them, I'm sure you probably obsessed over it a little bit.
Well, because I didn't really have a favorite because, again, I had very little knowledge of it. Because my mom was one of those. She was like an Oprah mom, where most of her, a lot of her information just came from like kind of public access TV stuff and just hearsay from the mom groups. So there was like this problem kid in like our kindergarten class who would just like attack people or do whatever. He was doing whatever the fuck he wanted. First it was like, oh, he has like ADD or ADHD, whatever it was. But it was also, oh, Power Rangers. That's that show he's really into. I think Power Rangers makes you violent because everyone's hitting and kicking each other, so the kids want to do that too.
The Grand Theft Auto approach.
Yeah, which again, possibly true. one of my friends and I, we like on the playground, he's like, friend to this day, the same one whose grandma, it was forbid Narnia. He's like, do you want to play Star Wars? I'm like, okay. He's like, okay, I'll be the Sith. And I'm like, okay. And then we just start beating the shit out of each other. Like, this is maybe like first grade, second grade, and like this attacks me, like rolling around the dirt. We're just like just going nuts fighting.
Did you have lightsabers?
No, we just like fucking attacked each other,
beating each other up.
Yeah,
that's not Star Wars at all. That's not what they do in Star Wars.
No, because we're stupid, so we just start going at it. And then because then the teacher runs over and is like, no, separate. Like our parents get called, and we're sitting in the office, and we're just like, why are they so like freaked out? Like, I don't know. And we're just sitting there confused because it's like we were hitting each other, but it's like that child sort of that pain tolerance where you're past little kids, like really little kids stage where anything sets you off, and you're in sort of the weird like jump down 3 stories and get right back up.
Oh yeah, I remember what that was like.
Yeah. So we're in that era.
Welcome to AnythingCast. I'm Patrick. I'll review anything, and I'm here with Mandalore again. Thank you,
Howdy.
Mandalore, for coming on the show again.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long time. It's been.
I remember getting my appendix out when I was like 12, and then
dude, you too.
Yeah. But within like day 2 or 3 being back home, I was like running up and down the stairs again. It's just nuts. Your recovery is so fast.
I got my appendix taken out, and I still remember to this day that I remember how painful it was, and I'm sure you remember how painful it was too.
How did you know that your how did you know something was wrong and like tell your parents?
I thought I needed to poop constantly. Like,
really?
Yeah, like I thought the whole time. I was like, I spent like 3 hours or something on the toilet.
Oh
like,
my god.
Trying to shit, and I was in so much pain. My mom took me to the family doctor, and then they said his appendix is about to explode. You need to take him to the hospital. How about yourself?
Oh my god. I can remember this clearly. I was watching something on TV, but I was like laying down on my side, and I remember like it was like past my like time to go to bed basically, and one of my parents came in. I don't remember which one. Like, hey, like you're still up. Like, why aren't you in bed? And I was like, I can't get up. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, like this really hurts. And so they definitely brought me. They're like, we'll see in the. I don't remember the details. I can't remember if we went in the morning. Just like if it's still like bad or something.
Oh.
Which was, I think the details are fuzzy. We might have gone that night later on, because they're like, oh, it's like where's the pain? It's in your side. So I realized like it was bad, but you think like I would have tried to get up and gone like but whatever was happening, I guess it was just like a cable was cut or something. I'm just like, oh, I can't like move that way.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Up. Well, it was again just sort of that kid stage of, and I've always had a high pain tolerance too, which sounds cool, but it actually really fucking sucks. Because you don't know when something's wrong unless something's really wrong, compared to where you could probably catch it earlier.
Where'd you get a high pain tolerance from?
I definitely get it from my father's side, but it was just stuff like early on, because my dad tried to like teach me about stuff like about pain. Not like my father taught me the meaning of pain.
Yeah, I was about to say this is getting really Mortal Kombat and Tekken real quick. I had migraines from like a young. My parents say I've had them since I was a baby. So that's where I got my pain tolerance from. I've just been growing up with like. Do you get migraines? Do you know what they're like?
I've gotten them a few times. I do not enjoy. They're horrible. But if you have that constantly, is that like tinnitus, or is tinnitus only when you have like the ringing, or is like migraines part of that?
Migraines are just like a really, really, really bad headache with a lot of weird physical symptoms. I had them all the time as a kid, and it would make me like nauseous and make me unable to walk and
fuck, dude.
All sorts of dude, it's fucked. I have legitimately thought about this is, and I'm not trying to say this to sound dramatic, but they have been bad enough to where I've legitimately been like I could just kill myself. It'd be worth it. Yeah. It'd be worth it.
I definitely get that. Just especially when it's so constant, like in the background for so long. It's like no wonder that'll give you a high pain tolerance when you have to like take that level of migraine and just sort of go live every day doing your normal routine with that just in the background.
I've been told that like one of the worst pains that you can get, like the 10 out of 10 on the scale, is like crushing your hand with a machine or something, like in a factory. And in comparison to that, migraines fall on like an 8 out of 10. Like your average migraine is like an 8. I was like, that's okay. I can see why that it's fucked up. Do you have anything like that? Do you have any like really? Do you have like any painful shit that you have to deal with constantly besides your back?
Not. I mean, until fairly recently, I'd been pretty quiet. So I just do the routines, do the PT sort of stuff for it.
Oh, you're in physical therapy?
Not anymore. Well, I'm back now, but I wasn't for a long time. It's just sort of you do your leg stretches, you do these things just to keep your core sort of stronger in that area. But what happened this time was I was sick in early January, and I was coughing a ton. I was so convinced it was COVID because it had such strange symptoms. It like came on strong. It lasted for like 2 weeks, but just a flu. Either way.
Just the flu?
Yep, just some kind of flu.
You don't smoke, do you?
No.
Okay.
But it was I guess people go in throwing their back out just from like if they sneeze really hard or if they're like coughing a ton. And so I guess the combination of the virus sort of weakening my system and just like coughing so much, it just agitated the hell out of the area. So
you threw your back out coughing?
Yeah, but it was weird because there wasn't like a moment. The day it got bad, it just sort of kind of crept up. So I was like, oh man, my back's like more sore today. When I was just doing, I think it was on a Sunday or Monday. She's like, oh man, like my back's sore. Like I lay on the couch. It's like, oh man, like trying to do like the leg lifts. I'm like, man, this is like really hurting. I think I'll lay on the floor. And then the oh fuck moment came when I went to get off the floor and realized, oh, I cannot. It's just like it was like the appendix thing again. Except this time I was fucking feeling the pain. And it was like so bad when I tried to like get off the floor, it was like this lightning bolt.
Oh my goodness.
And then the issue was it was healing okay over the next few days, but the muscle guarding was so bad from it because the pain had been so intense that like, because that night I had to like sleep on the floor because I could not physically crawl into my mattress. I actually got some wild like rug burn on my legs because I was like I was doing like the.
You didn't get your girlfriend to get you off the floor or anything?
No, because I was like, even trying to bend up a little bit, the pain was just so bad. I could only move in this like, I could only move in like this weird bonitis way. So even moving to the bedroom, I was doing like the Dave Chappelle like Rick James crawl when his legs are destroyed.
You were too busy being an 80s guy, dude. You forgot about your crippling bonitis.
Exactly. Like the next day I was so happy because I managed to that's why I healed and gained enough momentum to be able to crawl onto the bed. I'm like, oh thank God, my quality of life's so much better now that I'm off the carpet.
How long did you stay in bed?
I was like trying to move up, just like, use the bathroom, but that was about it. I was mainly stuck in the bed for like, I want to say 3 days.
Oh my God.
So I was hobbling, but it was pretty bad, which was weird because when I first got the injury, it was pretty bad. It was never that intense. So I was like, oh fuck, maybe this could be like really, really bad. But it just turned out that, oh no, it was just very agitated because it healed way faster. It's like I'm doing pretty okay now.
Yeah, you tore a muscle or something. I asked some people if they had any questions for you, like we did last time.
Sure.
And there were just a few. The Pleasantly Plump Vlogger, who comments on a lot of my stuff, I love that guy's name. He's such a charming name.
Sounds jolly.
He does. It sounds like it's like Santa or something. He asks, what is Mandalore's favorite movie?
Oh, fuck. Oh, man, this is hard. Oh, fuck it. It's generic. I guess I'll say Fellowship of the Ring.
I was going to say it's going to be Lord of the Rings, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's also... I think of movies I like a lot. Say I love the Aliens. It's my taste. I'm not going to have something out of left field like, oh, I love...
Midsummer.
Well, I mean, people love that Ari Aster stuff, but... I guess I definitely do weigh in, like, nostalgia things with it, too. So it's like when Fellowship of the Ring came out, that was like a big thing with my friends growing up, like watching those movies, like all the stuff around it.
Oh, dude, imagine for me.
Oh yeah, I mean for you, that was your book,
dude. That was the biggest thing in my life when those movies came out. I thought that like you would think Christ had come back. I was so excited.
I'm envious of that too because I was late to the party. I read The Hobbit after. I read The Hobbit after Fellowship of the Ring was out.
Really?
Yeah. I rented... Well, I guess my family rented Fellowship of the Ring. And I got, like, super into it. I didn't realize it was, like, a Hobbit-connected thing. Until, like, it started. And I was like, oh, it's Bilbo.
How old were you in 2001?
How old was I in 2001?
I was 10.
Was I 9? I don't remember how old I was exactly, but it was.
You understood hobbits then. You were like, I was expecting you to say that you were like a teenager, like you were 13.
Oh no. It was before the Two Towers came out. Like by the time I saw Fellowship of the Ring, I was like on the Two Tower seeing it in theaters hype train.
Dude, my wife was like 16 when that movie came out.
Man, that's wild.
she picks on me for everything. I am so much younger than her. I'm like 7 years younger than my wife. So everything where I'm like, yeah, I remember being like an adolescent and then those movies coming out, and it was so cool.
And she's like, "You're a baby."
Yes,
like, we were driving to the premiere.
She was in high school when 9/11 happened, and I was like, "That's so weird. Man. I don't like that at all."
Yeah, where were you on 9/11?
Me?
Yeah, most people remember when they hear the news, right?
Yeah, everybody remembers where they were when they heard the news.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first, where you were on 9/11?
I'll go first, so I don't push it on you. I was in Spanish class because we had our intercom announcement say that there's been a terrorist attack in New York City, and I only knew terrorists from Red Alert 2. So again, I was picturing like guys with like dynamite and like trucks.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand, so I was.
You were thinking of the guy. What is his name? It's the
Crazy Ivan?
Crazy Ivan. Yes, you were thinking of Crazy Ivan.
Yes, I heard 9/11 and I pictured Crazy Ivan up to nefarious shenanigans in the Capitol, and then I go home and like, the reaction is quite different at home because kids, we don't know what's going on really.
Yeah.
But my family was also like working in the airline industry, so this was also like holy fuck. It was a combination of like, oh man, like this is happening. Like,
wait, what state were you in? Because I was in Mississippi, obviously.
I was also in North Carolina at the time too, because my dad had moved there for work because there's a big like airport in Charlotte.
So pretty close.
Yeah, but when that happened, it's also like, oh man, like this horrible thing's happening. Is there gonna be a war? My dad's like, at the industry, we don't like, the company's fucking flailing. Like, are we all gonna lose our jobs? And I'm just like, I'm calling my friend. I'm like, did you hear about the terrorists? And he's like, yeah. And like, he starts bullshitting to me like things he's heard about it. She's like, yeah, I heard that the president was in his car and the plane like went over it. And then it hit the building, and like he barely got out in the explosion. Like he's recounting it like it's a Die Hard movie. So I remember going, "What? The president was in his car?" And my dad goes, "Who are you talking to? Give me the phone."
You're talking to like the CIA.
No, he's more like I don't know what the fuck this other kid is telling my son about what's going on. So he's like, "Who is this? Like, this is a very serious time. Not now." Hangs up.
Here's the real question, Mandalore. What video game did you play on 9/11?
Oh, did I even have a...
Surely you'd remember if you did.
I don't think I played anything on 9/11.
Not a single game? Damn, you don't associate a game with 9/11?
I guess I just remember the explosion more than what I was playing on a Nintendo. But so I remember like seeing the news about 9/11. I don't think I ever went downstairs or wherever it was and started playing Nintendo or anything. Because I'm pretty sure, like, my parents' reaction, I think, was so different than anything I had seen before.
Did they come get you out of school?
Oh, yeah. School let out early.
Yeah, absolutely.
School let everybody out early. Because I think I was just kind of in the living room with them. Because they just seemed so, understandably, they were so out of it and just... I hadn't seen, like, I'd seen them worried and stuff before, but this was like, they were clearly gripped by terror and uncertainty, and it felt like, oh, I should probably be here.
Were your family military?
My extended family had some, but I wasn't even thinking that at the time. It was just little kid brain going, I don't really get what's going on, but I feel like I should be here. There's like a building on fire or something.
Yeah.
People are dying, but again, it's still at that age where it was so like abstract, just what was going on. And so it's kind of like, I guess I'll just hang out here. My memories of anything in detail are fuzzy.
You went upstairs and you read your Goosebumps books. You read...
I don't know if I...
You read The Day the Towers Went Down. The Goosebumps by R.L. Stein.
I don't know if I was on the Goosebumps train yet. I'm not sure.
Do you think that R.L. Stein's one person? Are you on that train, or are you the, like, R.L. Stein has to be multiple writers guy?
I mean, I haven't read the literature about the theories, but I would say it's one guy only because having read a lot, for the like choose your own scare and like later stuff he did or Fear Street, maybe there were some alterations, but the formula was so similar across so many of the Goosebumps books. I could easily see how it was just him. So it'd be like,
100%.
oh, kid like goes on vacation or moves into new area. There's Mr. Creep McRed Herring, who you think is going to be bad, but really the creepy weirdo's always the helpful voice of good.
Yes.
It's like you notice there's like such a like some break the mold, but there's such a clear template for it. It seems like, oh yeah, I could see one dude just remixing this once a fucking week and getting some stories out of it. Because like he read Monster Blood, there's somewhere he goes whatever.
Yes.
he goes, oh, there's another Goosebumps done. It's gonna sell. So.
You want to know what video game I associate with 9/11, Mandalore?
I do.
It is
SWAT 4.
Yes. Counter-Strike. No. It was Power Stone.
Power Stone.
Yes.
Were you just happening to like play it, or
on 9/11? I stayed home from school in the morning because I had a migraine. And the night before,
wow.
and I didn't get any sleep because I had a migraine. So I went to school late that day. And then the morning I woke up, my mom made me breakfast, and while I was getting ready to go to school, I played Power Stone in our living room on like a big projector screen on the wall.
All right.
And I played Power Stone, I went to school, and then I remember my mother came and got me like 10 minutes later.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that would have been right around the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
My dad is my dad's a Marine. So
oh yeah, okay.
My dad apparently heard on the radio they were talking about what was happening, and they said that it looked like somebody, I've heard this from a lot of people too, this has been corroborated since. Somebody on the radio, some famous radio announcer, somehow, some broadcaster said that it looked like a nuclear bomb had hit New York. And
interesting.
Yes, so
I remember
just
that being a
fear-mongering.
rumor. Yeah, I remember that. I do remember rumors about that. Not that we heard it was a nuke, but I do recall hearing like people had thought that a nuke had gone off for some reason.
Yeah, it was because of the Tower of Smoke, I think.
Yeah.
Sure. But that scared the shit out of my father, because my father has anxiety disorders, and so do I, especially being his son and living through 9/11. And so my mom came and got me like 10 minutes later, and then she took me to like a house out in the country that belonged to my grandmother's brother, and I hung out in the cornfield for the rest of the day.
Oh my god! So you were. Was this like a bug out? Like we're gonna bring you off the grid?
Yes, yes, 100%. We went.
So first
off
I thought
the
it might
grid.
be like, oh, like they didn't want you like seeing the news, but this is like, oh, like we might need to get the fuck out in case everything's collapsing.
They thought a nuke hit New York, and
holy shit.
They went to like the most rural, out in the middle of nowhere part of Mississippi, like where all the guns were, and all that fun stuff. We went full like native. Wait, is that racist? Can I say go full native?
No. When people say full native, it's just you're doing as the Romans do. You're doing the
Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like, oh, you're wearing local clothes. It's not like it's like people like, oh, it's the natives.
Yeah, I for a moment I was like, wait, is that a racist thing?
I was gonna say on the car ride over, you could instead of saying, oh, you can listen like the car radio, but even then the information would have been so scattered.
Yes.
And like everything you could hear would be bad too. It's like, oh, the Pentagon just got hit.
Yes.
Like another plane just like crashed out in some field. So anything just sounds like, oh, anything could fucking happen today.
Yes, everything was up in the air. I remember everybody was so scared. And did you do anything later that day? Did you just stay at home?
Again, I don't have much memory of like anything that particularly happened the day. I remember the next day more. But for that, I just remember sort of seeing the images on the TV and my parents being very worried. I think at some point I might have like gone and fucked around with Legos or something, still in the room, but it wasn't. My dad wasn't taking precautions.
Yeah.
It was more like because of where we were too. it was because I do remember my mom was considering like, hey, should we like maybe like, because Charlotte, you know, had the big airport there, and it's also like a big, it's like a big banking center for the country, and there's a nuclear power plant like in the area, and so people on the local stations are floating the idea of like someone crashing something into like the power plant and trying to cause a meltdown and whatever, you know, people just fear mongering about how could this happen to us.
Absolutely.
But my dad's like, no, like it won't matter, like the roads are gonna be crazy, like flying's obviously a no-go, so we just sort of stayed there. Though I remember for the next week or two, which might have been similar there, where we heard jets, like we heard military patrol jets for like fucking months afterwards, because like the skies around the area, they're just kind of doing patrols, just in case. But that might have only been a thing around like city centers.
It definitely wasn't around where I was, but I mean, I was in the middle of bumfuck Mississippi. Yeah. Did you have any, like, you know, if you don't want to answer this question, I completely understand, because this is kind of more of a personal question. Did you have any, like, extensive anxiety that stemmed from witnessing 9/11 as a child?
Weirdly enough, I'm gonna say not really, which sounds odd. What ended up being the result was I got more stressed out from my because oh my god, my dad we were so like our family wasn't doing great financially, but after 9/11, my dad was like, he was so constantly worried he was like about to lose his job, and so that definitely stuck with me. It was more like saving and just trying to be like prepared in case something happened. That definitely stuck in, because he's like, I don't know what's going to happen with this, that, and the other. Like, if prices go up, if the airline company files Chapter 11, da-da-da-da.
Wait, so did your dad work for the company that the airliners were being routed from or something?
No, it was just because 9/11 happened. Every airline industry, like you'd have, yeah, was it? I don't think Airbus was around then. No, not the planes. I'm thinking of a different airline. You had like Spirit or US Airways, or I guess they're American Airlines now, or like Delta. Every airline was getting fucking like demolished because people weren't wanting to travel, but also because like the market was tanking on it too. It's like you saw with COVID too, the companies that were like running really dangerously close to like the knife's edge before something catastrophic happened that like stopped the machine, and then it's like, oh, we don't have income, and we were barely making ahead of debt. And that was like that for several like airline companies, which is why you had like all those mergers happening in like the years after 9/11, because some like just could not survive it. So he thought like he might lose his job basically.
That's totally fair. It's
or that's like totally fair. Yeah. So any 9/11 anxiety was more just like sort of more like job security, or like things. You could lose a job out of your control, or just like you could just wake up and your life changes. So it wasn't really a fear of like terrorism, especially because like, you know, my friends and I were playing fucking Red Alert, and in that era, people, like most kids, are more just cracking jokes about it, because it was more distant, and kids really didn't quite get it, because we were in that age where it was still too young to really cook what was going on. So,
I'm waiting for it to happen to us, man. I really am. I don't want to sound like a schizophrenic, paranoid asshole, but I am waiting for our generation's 9/11.
I mean, it might not happen it's not like there's always a generational tragedy. I mean, fuck, COVID could have been the big.
It could have been. It very well could have been. I just feel like I'm waiting, and this is just I have anxiety disorder. When 9/11 happened, when 9/11 happened, I for a long time was scared to go to school because I thought that a plane would crash into our school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just to this day being like, I think I'm just waiting on something to explode.
Yeah, I mean, I knew people who were like were in New York when it happened and stuff, and that's like a whole other planet. Where they're like, oh yeah, like we could see the smoke and all that. It's like, that's, whew, but
I talked to Mick Lauer. I don't think we talked about that specifically, but we talked about him being in New York during 9/11. We didn't go into details or anything, but he said something about, you know what? This might have been on something else he was on, because I try to keep up with the stuff that he does. But he said that he was in an apartment building with a whole bunch of people, and they all went up on top of their apartment building, and they could see like the smoke coming out of the towers from the top of their apartment building. It scared the shit out of them.
What's interesting is most people I hear that story from, almost all of them are in the military, who tell like the story of being in New York on 9/11. I think every single person who's told me that story, it's like, oh yeah, and then later I went into the military, which is sort of like, again, I've sort of stemmed from that, like maybe, you know, cause sign up, maybe I'll stop it from happening or have control, or don't know.
I remember my dad taking me into like not a year, but it was probably only a couple of months later, taking me into his office and showing me pictures on the internet on his monitor of the Pentagon, and then being like, son, I want you to look at this. Look here, see where the plane done hit the Pentagon? Now where's the parts of the plane, son?
Oh my god. He was doing
that?
He was feeding you conspiracy stuff?
Yes,
like,
yeah.
That early on.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
was
god.
10, and my dad was like, now where are the parts of the plane?
it's like, it's not enough that your kid had to like witness 9/11. You've got to complicate it. It's like if you're gonna, if you want to go on that boat and sort of float around ideas, may wait till your kids are a little older. Compared to like, isn't that scary? Yeah. What if we did this?
Yeah. What if the president did that, son?
Dude, no wonder you're worried about planes.
Yeah, I thought Bill Clinton was a fantasy character until only a few, years before. I didn't understand the concept really that much.
Bill Clinton didn't stop this? You like rip your newspaper apart and throw it away.
I'm
it's like The Incredibles. You rip your big Bill poster down.
I remember watching the footage of the guy who jumped. Do you remember? I don't know if you watched like the TV. You said you kind of like hung around with your parents.
Oh, I don't know if I don't think I saw that. I've seen the famous The Falling Man thing.
Yeah, I watched that live.
I think everyone's seen it. Oh Christ! I didn't know they aired it live at one point.
Yes, that was like I remember it was like it was just they were like, there's a man, there's something falling. Oh my God, it's a man. I remember everybody in the room like got really, really scared. I wonder if anybody's taken that and put the hell in the cell, by God is my witness, he is dead, when mankind threw, what is his name? Jericho?
For a second, I thought you were about to say, like, I wonder if someone's made like a YouTube poop out of this.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, I wonder if somebody has taken that and been like, the hell in the cell audio, and then take the guy falling out of the towers, and you know what, I shouldn't say that. That's a terrible thing to say.
I saw years ago, I don't know if it's still up because people make YouTube poops that were fucking weird.
Yes.
And they're not even YouTube poops. I remember seeing the Dragon Ball Z 9/11 tribute. Is that still up? Hey, oh my God, it is still up.
Can we watch this together? What is this?
It's not anything we need to watch together. It's the Dragon Ball Z.
Anything we need to watch together.
It's just the song, and you know what song it is. It's the Dragon Ball Z Linkin Park 9/11 tribute.
Oh my God.
This video is 15 years old, and it is not a joke.
Why are there so many of these? I just Googled 9/11 tribute, and there's so much. DBZ 9/11 tribute. Okay, hold on. I have to know.
It's because yeah, there's tons of it. There's tons.
Oh my God, this is like its own part of YouTube. I could make a video out of this.
Well, it's because people didn't know how the fuck to react to it.
Of course not. I mean, would you?
All 2000s fashion. Most of the 2000s is America going, oh, how the fuck do we deal with this?
How do we cope with 9/11?
Yeah, that's how you get DBZ, Linkin Park 9/11 tribute, and fucking Shrek Heinz ketchup. No one knows what to do.
I played so much Ragnarok Online, I think, to try to avoid thinking about 9/11.
Yeah, I mean, you get that cool soundtrack.
Dude, I almost said...
I was about to say 9/11 had the coolest soundtrack.
I almost did. I almost said, dude, 9/11 had the coolest soundtrack.
I mean, maybe if it's the Linkin Park 9/11 tribute, but...
Yeah, you know. Was that the same year? Is that why, like, Linkin Park and... was in everything around that time? Was that just when that album dropped? I guess it was.
In the End was fucking everywhere.
I remember as a child, people trying to get me in elementary school to sing Linkin Park songs, and I didn't know them.
I remember thinking it was Linkin Park, like Abraham Lincoln. when I hear people talk about it. I was like, oh, like Linkin Park.
Yes. Abraham Lincoln Park. Is that a thing?
I'm sure someone has to have. It's like the what if Mario mushroom was drug.
Yeah,
someone has to have done it.
Dude, there's nothing. I Google image nothing. Linkin Park's just named after the actual park, though.
Yeah, which is the thing. There's like actual Linkin Parks you can go to, which is gonna make finding the parody of your dreams much harder.
Yeah, I'm just getting pictures of Linkin Park. Mm-hmm. Was Linkin Park the one that had the leprechaun in it? No, Linkin Park was the one that had the rapist. You don't remember this?
What are you talking about?
Okay, hold on. I'm talking about this. You remember this guy?
Oh, right. The Bed Intruder song.
That was in Linkin Park.
That's right.
It was a rapist in Linkin Park. Right.
Yes, I remember now. I cannot, out of every detail, because that's not even part of the song. That's just like, well, when they made the remix later. It's climbing in your windows.
Snatching your people up, trying to rape them, because you better hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife.
This is a memory lane. Yeah, that is a actual Linkin Park.
My wife loved that song when we got together. She would go around our house singing the Rapist in Linkin Park remix.
The Bed Intruder one.
Yes. Is that what it was called? Bed Intruder?
Yeah, it was Bed Intruder. Because the channel that made that song, Shmoyo, I don't know how they're doing now. But like when that came out, they were huge.
I'm looking them up now.
Oh, they're still doing pretty good. But they were like everywhere.
Dude, 3.5 million subscribers.
Yeah. Yeah, Bed Intruder, 153 million views.
153 million, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the winning song by Charlie Sheen. Yeah.
I bet they are just living off. Bed Intruders is their most famous song, it looks like. Oh, they did the Can't Hug Every Cat song?
Yeah. Yeah, like anytime like a viral... Yeah, Charlie Bit Me. Like, anytime something came out, they would just make a remix of it so they could like ride that wave with it. And they did very well at it.
How much do you think that they make off of just YouTube AdSense?
I could look at...
They only have 318 people on their Patreon.
I mean, yeah, they don't need it. Well, I take that back. It's like... They probably don't need it to continue because they do collab stuff still. Yeah, it's Songify this feature. Yeah, they're still doing like collaborations with people.
Are they really?
They're doing... I'm sure they're doing like production stuff. Like they have their hands in many opportunities.
Their newest thing is It's Corn, and it's 29 million views. That was 5 months ago.
Yeah, they're doing just fine.
Yeah, definitely. It's their like 6th most viewed video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's their 8th most viewed video.
Stranger Things, but we songify it. Yeah, they're doing just fine.
Dude.
They're probably... I mean... Ad revenue alone, it's hard to estimate. I'm sure they're probably making at least 6 figures.
Hold on, I know what we'll do. We'll
maybe
look up
not
Social
before...
Blade, man.
All right, I mean maybe because tax can be weird too. They're doing just fine, especially like this is just YouTube. They could put their stuff on Spotify. They have iTunes. It's like they have stuff going back years and years and years.
Dude, they don't give you any money from Spotify. Have you seen Spotify's checks that they send out?
Oh yeah, they're minuscule, but again, when it comes to like if you're making something popular, every revenue stream that adds up.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever try to make music? You musically talented?
Never. I don't have any SoundCloud stuff.
You're telling me that you never tried to make rap music with that voice?
I don't think I sound like a rapper.
You've got like a sweet, sick baritone, though. You've got like a vocal fry and everything. You could make some trap beats, Mandalore.
It doesn't make me Fetty Wap, but I'll try.
I'm gonna get somebody. If anybody wants to produce some trap beats for Mandalore,
oh my god,
I'll pay you. I will pay you to do a single bar over a trap beat.
a bar that you have to loop for like 3 minutes.
yeah. I'll pay you to do like one bar, and in solidarity with you, I'll do the rest of it or something. I'll do the rest of the song. You just like do a hook for me.
There's some hoes in this house.
There's some hoes in this house.
That's it. Some people get away with that.
Did you get AI voice generated yet? Did your fans start sending you your voice doing different things yet?
No, I've only got the people always send me Day Author shit. And I saw the one about Garrett breaking into the Epstein mansion. That one with the music, that one had me fucking rolling. I also really like the ones they'll make of the like Joe Rogan guests. Like some of those are so funny. Like the dialogue is just so
I kind of want to send this
so
to
deranged.
you, but like it's one of the first things that happened that when that started happening was my fan base is very creative, and I barely have any fan base at all, mind you. I have 2,000 subscribers, and I received like 5 things of people making me do different songs.
Really?
Yes. Do you want to hear one?
I would. Like, are they how real do they sound? I guess I can judge that.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll find one for you.
The real reveal is going to be that you're actually singing it, and you're like,
yeah, it's just gonna be really
that's just me.
Yeah, it's just gonna be really me. Shit, I'm trying to think of one word, and I can't think of what the damn word is. Do I have your? It's not permission, but it's like a word. I'm trying to think of a synonym for permission that I know that they used.
Acknowledgement.
No, permission synonym. Shit. Consent. That I had to consent. They asked me if they had my consent to do it, which was very kind of them. Thank God.
Sure.
Okay. Here, I found them. There you go, Mandalore. Have some of that.
In this house,
it's only 26 seconds.
Wow.
Some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house.
And to think, I didn't realize this. When I said that, I didn't realize you had your own version.
Yes, it really.
Whoa! What? That's so weird.
Do you want your fan base to do this for you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because that's if I didn't know better, and if you had told me like, oh yeah, I did this, I would just think that maybe you had like maybe mixed like the reverb on it or something. Cause I'd be like, oh, like you did some like you mixed it somehow.
No, somebody did mix it. They did that and something else. Well, Mandalore, we're getting to time again.
Sure.
I don't want to keep you all night, dude. I really don't.
No problem.
I appreciate you coming on, but I feel like if I ask you to do a third episode, I am at some point just being the rudest human being alive.
It's all good. We got 2 good ones out of it tonight.
We did. We got to talk about 9/11. We got to talk about Goosebumps, Lord of the Rings. I mean, what else? What else is there to talk about?
Ask for?
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to the listeners. Yeah, dude. Absolutely anytime. You want to come on the show? You're a fantastic guest. Thank you so much.
Thank you.